Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Hello, you KZOOMers. Let's do that again.
Okay. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Hello, all of you KZOOMers.
Hey.
So, we are guided on the path of love by these verses from Parshat Ikav of Shir HaShirim. And the lovers, in this kind of over-the-top praise for each other, they are lifting themselves up into beauty, into pleasure. He says,
Your neck is a tower of ivory. Your eyes are pools in Heshbon. By the gates of Bat Rabim, your nose like a tower of Lebanon that turns towards Damascus. Your head crowns you like Mount Carmel, and the hair of your head is like royal purple. A king is held captive in its tresses. How beautiful and how sweet is love in all its pleasures.
So this sense of opening to pleasure is part of the path, or opening through pleasure. There is a teaching from Leslie Jameson that says pleasure demands presence. Pleasure demands presence. It invites you to inhabit your body more fully. So it may be that the key to the holiness of pleasure is that it demands presence, and presence is really the key. And so I'm calling this class Pleasure as a doorway, because I don't want to stop there in the doorway. I want that pleasure to call forth an expanded presence, and through that presence to enter into mystical consciousness or unity consciousness, an expanded awareness through the pleasure. This from this book, Mystical Activism, by John Robinson. He says the pleasure, that presence, and I'm going to say that the pleasure is bringing us to presence, or the presence is allowing that pleasure to be a doorway. It says, awakening mystical consciousness, the experience of presence is the doorway to mystical consciousness. You have stumbled into it countless times. Now we want to make the experience of presence intentional. What is presence? Presence refers to the immediate and tangible experience of God's consciousness in the world, in our consciousness, in our physical being, a personal, subjective, here and now, one-of-a-kind encounter with and immersion in the divine. It is the source and essence of mystical consciousness. So we just came from teaching a retreat on devekut. And devekut is really this holding up this possibility of a constant awareness of God's presence in the midst of our life, our world, our busyness, all of it. That to plant a kind of, this possibility that God consciousness can be there at the very same time as we're doing our lives. And we want to, in our practice, really plant that possibility, open to it, and practice it so that it's going to be there underneath everything. And it will open us to a different dimension of life. So he goes on to say the presence is located most distinctly in the stillness, silence, and timelessness that pervade everything in the present moment. It is often associated with the realization that space itself is conscious and alive. Locating this presence involves the sharpening and heightening of awareness. So I think that's what we're doing in our practice. We are doing the sharpening and heightening of awareness. And can we use the simple pleasures of our lives to sharpen and heighten our awareness, really? And I think that's a good intention. It's a good question. So I want to chant these words with the intention of dedicating every small pleasure of life to the sharpening of our awareness and the heightening of our awareness. And for those who are shooting, we're going to do this with a D and a G. And find in your voice this, this possibility of just I find just entering into the pleasure of melody, the pleasure of harmony, and we want to not just step into the pleasure, but use that pleasure as a doorway to presence. Mah-yafit, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim. Everybody chant this.
Mah-yafit
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot,
ahavah
batanugim, Mah-yafit
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot,
ahavah batanugim,
Mah-yafit
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot,
ahavah batanugim,
Mah-yafit
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot,
ahavah
batanugim,
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot,
ahavah batanugim,
Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim, Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim,
Mah-yafit
u'mana'ot,
ahavah batanugim,
Mah-yafit u'mana'ot, ahavah batanugim. Mah-yafit,
Mah-yafit,
Umanat,
ahavah,
batanugim. Mah-yafit,
Mah-yafit,
Umanat, ahavah, batanugim. Mah-yafit, Umanat, ahavah, batanugim. Mah-yafit, Umanat, ahavah,
So finding the present moment through the pleasure of this melody, and then stepping through that door of pleasure into the stillness, the silence, the timelessness that pervades everything in the present moment. Feeling this as like a spaciousness, that's the space itself is alive. And when we step through that door of pleasure into presence, we are bringing this heightened and sharpened awareness. And let us say,
Yum.
So the there's this line in the Talmud that says, after you die, you will be held accountable for all of the pleasures you were allowed to have, but you didn't.
Really?
And so it's like every pleasure that's possible, the pleasure really just takes presence, right? I remember I was teaching this at the Kala last summer, and I gave everybody an assignment to pay attention to what your simple pleasure is. And I said, my simple pleasure is the first sip of tea in the morning. And so everybody had their assignment, like to go pay attention to their pleasure. And so the next morning, I got my tea, and I had to report to the class that it wasn't until the third sip that I was able to enjoy that tea. It was only, and I was like, where was I the first two sips, but it's sort of like that attention is actually necessary for that pleasure to happen. Mm-hmm. And then when we get a hint of what that pleasure is, we want to fill up with it. And so that's what this practice that I want to do, called filling up. And we're filling up with the joys of that divine presence that is in everything, but is often hidden from us, that kind of immanence of God that is hidden in the work. And we awaken the sparks of the divine through our attention, through our heightened awareness, and through our appreciation, really. So So when I chant these words, Sova, Sova, I'm making a commitment to filling up. And in this very moment, I'm filling up, with the breath, which I don't take for granted. After having pneumonia, I don't take that for granted at all. That breath is so precious and so pleasurable. So, and then there's the pleasure of who you're with.
Me?
No, these guys over here.
Yeah, okay.
And you too.
Oh, good.
The pleasure of getting to be together in spiritual practice, and to see your faces, and to imagine the sound that you're making. Want to fill up, and if you want to even look out the window and fill up with whatever you see there, the sky. Fill up with all the miracles that we miss. And one of the prerequisites, I think, for filling up is like slowing down a bit, and then we can fill up.
Yep. I think that's right. You gotta slow down.
Slow down to fill up.
Yeah.
Or even pause, or we have some pausing in our lives, so that in that pause we can fill up. Ready? Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha. So now, focus in on one square, one face that's here, and see if you can fill up with the presence of God that is there and the joy that is there in them, that you want to call it forth by filling up with that.
Sova, Sova, smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha.
So find another face and really yum. I call it yum it up, yum it up.
Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha.
All right, find another face to feel God's presence.
Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha.
Once more.
Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha.
So close your eyes, bring your attention to the breath, and just breathe into that fullness within. Knowing that when you fill up with the joys of that presence in the world and in each other, then it is possible that you will overflow. And you will overflow as your service, as your love, as your generosity. And that overflow, when you're filled up, that overflow just happens naturally. No effort. So just breathe into the fullness. Allow it to fill you up. So this this idea that we are held accountable for all of these pleasures, unexperienced pleasures, that there's something happening all the time where God is giving God's self to us, and one of the ways that John Robinson describes it, he says, presence is not an achievement to be had, put away, and kept like a possession, souvenir, or pressed flower, nor is it a belief we cling to for comfort and security. Here is one. It is the always new, fresh, and unfolding opening into the divine. It is the always new, fresh, and unfolding opening into the divine. And that sort of feels like, there is this giving of God that is always fresh, always new, always opening something new to us, whether it's a color or a fragrance, and or a feeling. Taste. You want to taste? What would you like to taste?
Oh, that first sip of my almond milk latte is just heaven. I just got to say. So there you go. Just the simple pleasures.
Simple pleasures. Yeah. So you can think about those pleasures are in us. Those pleasures are always in us. And the trick is this practice that I think is about savoring.
Yeah.
Like, how do we take that, not to cling to it, but to really, and let it heal us, really. Let it touch us. Let it in. And so this next practice, that in his shade, I've been doing this practice for a long time, and I just love it, because it puts me in the place of just kind of basking in the light of my life. And it says, in his shade I delight to sit, tasting his sweet fruit. And so this shade is like the tree of life, and I'm sitting. I'm leaning my back against the trunk of the tree of life, which connects me to heaven and earth, and I am opening to the fragrance of life, the subtleties of pleasure. And I always like at the end of this chant to focus on the breath as the fruit, as that being able to taste this fresh and unfolding opening into the divine with my breath, and tasting the fruit, tasting that sweet fruit of life itself, of being, just tasting it, and basking in the pleasure, really, taking it in. So I always think of this practice as being so sensual, so that savoring, basking in, opening to, and letting the beauty and the pleasure just touch me. Everybody leaning back into the tree of life, okay?
There you go, Gail.
I should want to say that word yashavti, it's to sit But it also means, oh, that's where I want to live. It's like I'm making it my home. Mah-yafit. So in his shade, I delight to sit, but also to say, oh, that's my home, that's where I live, in the shade. And the shade is protection, it is nurturance, it is a sense of safety. So it allows us to relax.
B'tzilo chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo matok לחיקי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo matok לחיקי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי בצילו chimad'ti וישבתי ufiryo matok לחיקי ufiryo, matok lechiki. Ufiryo, matok lechiki. Ufiryo, matok lechiki.
And once more, really enter into that pleasure.
Mitzilo, chimad'ti, Mah-yafit. Mitzilo, chimad'ti, Mah-yafit. Mitzilo, chimad'ti, Mah-yafit. Mitzilo, chimad'ti, Mah-yafit. Ufiryo, matok lechiki. Ufiryo, matok lechiki. Ufiryo, matok lechiki. Ufiryo, matok lechiki.
Just keep your eyes closed and bring your attention to the breath. And let each breath be the sweet fruit of your life, your existence. So really tasting that, the sweetness of your life. Of just being, just resting in the shade of the tree of life. So you might even try just tasting with the in-breath and just expressing your gratefulness on the out-breath. And tasting on the in-breath and then savoring on the out-breath. Taking it in and allowing it to nourish and pleasure you on the out breath. So this, what this path of love demands is presence, and what presence demands is that we just say yes to each moment. That whatever it is, we don't push it away. And so all of it, really, all of it, the things that are hard and the things that are easy, these words that say, renew within me the spirit of yes. And when I do this practice, I'm often just aware of the places that I have a kind of habitual no to, places of discomfort or upset, and I'm kind of saying, saying no. No, I don't want to be sick. No, I don't want this, the world to be the way it is. And it's this practice of renewing this yes in me, just saying yes to what is, so that in that place of yes, we can walk through a doorway. I think of it as the doorway of the creativity of how will I respond to this moment. And if I'm only saying no, I'm cutting off my own creative capacity. So we want this this capacity to say yes, the spirit of yes, to be renewed with each breath, with each moment. And really, it's really, again, about presence, about the always new, fresh, and unfolding opening into the divine. So sometimes when I do this practice, I might lay on the altar of the chant something that is hard for me, that is this kind of place that I'm saying no to. And I lay it on the altar of the chant. And then I'll pour myself into the chant. And in the silence after the chant, I go back to that difficulty, that challenge. And I find the yes, which is a kind of a place of surrender, of opening to what is. So, got it? Veruach nachon, chadaysh b'kiremi. 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 Veruach
chadaysh Meruach nachon chadaysh Meruach nachon chadaysh b'kirbi Meruach nachon chadaysh b'kirbi.
So breathing in that spirit of yes. And you might want to, from that expanded place of yes inside you, you might want to just turn to that place of challenge, difficulty, that place of no, and just see if anything might shift to view that difficulty from this expanded place of yes. Have been so inspired by some of the speeches at the Democratic National Convention and inspired by the referencing of joy and a kind of a positivity and a reminding us of our values of kindness and compassion and inclusivity. It just feels sort of like it's going right to my heart as Madison, and I wanted to, and I wanted to end with this practice that's called for enjoy, and just the idea that that part of the kind of conversation is about joy and the power of joy to lift us up, to lighten us, to make us more expansive, to face challenges with that joy. And I really, keep wanting to connect with that possibility of meeting every challenge with joy. So this last chant that says, "For in joy will you go out, and peace be led across the land. Mountains and hills will burst into song, and the trees of the field will clap their hands." So to and to be able to say that we are, we're hanging out in this human community, but it is actually a much larger community. The trees and the hills are also part of our community, and to be able to connect with the more than human community, I think it helps me with my joy, really. And I want, in this idea that we're moving, we're going out into the land and connecting and being inspired each day. So I wanted to end with this chant. And don't forget to clap. You're going to have to clap, honey. Okay. So,
Ki v-simcha tate-tzay-oo, Oo-v-shalom toovaloon. Ki v-simcha tate-tzay-oo, Oo-v-shalom toovaloon. For in joy will you go out, in peace be led across the land. Mountains and hills will burst in Oo-v-shalom, toovaloon. For in joy will you go out, in peace be led across the land. Mountains and hills will burst into song, and the trees of the field will clap their hands. V-simcha, tate-tzay-oo, Oo-v-shalom, toovaloon. V-simcha, tate-tzay-oo. Oo-v-shalom,
So wonderfully to be KZOOMing with you in this through this pleasure doorway, and we will be here next week in the KZOOM. And I will also invite you, anybody, there's still room at this retreat, this Elul retreat that I'm doing in a couple of weeks, September 10th to 15th, in the Garden State in New Jersey. There's
The
still
one and only New Jersey.
there's room for you to do your Elul work together. So find that on my website. And we just came back from teaching a retreat, so we're just like, so filled up with this, what it feels like to